In this video, I'm about to show you why Chicago is in shock after business owners across the city threaten to close their stores over crime and taxes. This isn't about big corporations or billionaires. This is about the corner store owners, the family restaurants, the people who work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week just to keep their doors open, and now they're saying enough is enough. The city is in shock, but it shouldn't be because the signs have been there for years. Let's get into it. Let me start with the moment that made every politician in Chicago's eyes go wide. In February 2024, a group of over 200 small business owners sent a letter to Mayor Brandon Johnson and every member of the city council. The letter wasn't a request, it wasn't a suggestion. It was a warning. The letter said, quote, "We are writing to inform you that if crime and taxes continue at their current levels, we will have no choice but to close our businesses within the next 12 to 18 months. We cannot continue to operate under these conditions. We are not asking for special treatment. We are asking for basic safety and reasonable costs. 200 business owners, restaurants, grocery stores, dry cleaners, hardware stores, the businesses that make neighborhoods function, and they all signed their names. The mayor's office didn't call a meeting with those business owners. They didn't invite them to City Hall. They issued a press release saying, quote, "The mayor is committed to supporting small businesses and will continue to work with community partners." That's it. A press release. No meeting. No plan. No follow-up. The business owners were furious. One of them, who owns a hardware store on the south side, told the Chicago Sun-Times, "They didn't even call us. They sent a press release. We're 200 people who employ thousands of Chicagoans, and they sent a press release." That's when the city went into shock. They realized the business owners weren't bluffing, and they had no idea what to do. Now let me tell you about a man named Tony. Tony owns Tony's Italian Beef on the northwest side. He's been there for 32 years. His father opened the place in 1972. Tony grew up in the back office. He knows every customer by name. In March 2024, Tony put a sign in his window. It said, 365 days until closure unless something changes. And then a countdown clock. 365 days. 364. 363. The sign went viral. People came from all over the city to take pictures. And Tony told reporters exactly why he was doing it. He said, quote, "Last year I was robbed 3 times. 3 times. Once at gunpoint. My insurance went up 40%. My property taxes went up 22%, and my sales are down because people are scared to come to the neighborhood. I'm losing money every month. I can't do this forever." Let me give you the numbers. According to Tony's own books, which he showed to a reporter from WGN, his profit margin in 2019 was 12%. In 2023, it was 2%. 2%. That means for every $100 a customer spends, Tony keeps $2. One bad week could put him under. The mayor's office said crime is down in Tony's ward compared to last year. That might be technically true, but Tony was robbed 3 times last year, down from 4 times the year before. So crime is down 25%. But Tony was still robbed 3 times. That's not a victory, that's a crisis. Tony's countdown clock is now at 300 days. He says he's serious. He says he'll close on day 0. The city is in shock because they don't know if he's bluffing. But I don't think he is. Let me tell you about Maria. Maria owned a dry cleaning shop in the South Loop. She'd been there for 18 years. She immigrated from Mexico in 1998. She worked as a cleaner for 7 years before she saved enough to open her own shop. In January 2024, Maria closed her doors for good. She put a sign on the window that said, "After 18 years, we cannot continue. Thank you to our loyal customers. Crime and taxes have made it impossible." Maria gave an interview to the Chicago Tribune before she left. She said, quote, "My shop was broken into 7 times in 2 years. 7 times. Each time, they broke the glass, stole my equipment, and left. The police came, they took a report, nothing happened. My insurance premiums tripled. My landlord raised my rent because his property taxes went up. I was working 70 hours a week and losing money. I couldn't do it anymore." Here's the number that breaks my heart. Maria said she made $32,000 in 2019. In 2023, she made $11,000. That's a 66% drop. She said she stopped paying herself a salary in October 2023. She was living off her savings. And when the savings ran out, she closed. Maria is 53 years old. She doesn't have a college degree. She doesn't have a pension. She has her savings, which are almost gone, and a dream that didn't work out. And she's not alone. According to the Illinois Small Business Development Center, over 400 small businesses closed in Chicago in 2023 because the owners cited crime or taxes as the primary reason. 400. That's more than one per day. And the city is acting like it's a surprise. Now, let me tell you about a grocery store you might have shopped at, Harvest Fresh Foods. They have locations on the south and west sides. In 2023, the owner, a man named David, gave a tour to a reporter from the Chicago Sun-Times, and the tour was shocking. David showed them the plexiglass barriers at every checkout. He showed them the security cameras, 47 of them. He showed them the armed security guard he hired at $50 an hour. He showed them the locked cases for laundry detergent, razors, and baby formula. He showed them the employee entrance that requires 2 keys and a code. And then he showed them his profit and loss statement. He said, quote, "I spend $12,000 a month on security. That's $144,000 a year. That's the salary of 4 employees. That's a new delivery truck every 3 years. That's money I could be spending on lower prices or better products. Instead, I spend it on plexiglass and guards because the city won't protect me." David told the reporter that he's thinking about closing 2 of his 4 locations. He said, quote, "I'm not making money on those stores. I'm losing about $5,000 a month at each one. I can't keep doing this forever." The city's response? They offered David a grant of $20,000 to install more security cameras. $20,000. That's less than 2 months of his security costs. He said no. The city is in shock because they thought grants would solve the problem. But grants don't stop shoplifters. Grants don't make customers feel safe. Only law enforcement does that. And the city isn't providing that. Let me tell you about a bar on the north side. The owner's name is Kevin. He's been in business for 25 years. In 2023, he installed bulletproof glass around his bar. Bulletproof glass. In a bar. In a neighborhood that used to be safe. Kevin posted about it on social media. He wrote, "I never thought I'd have to do this. I've been in this building for 25 years. My dad drank here. Now I'm installing bulletproof glass so my bartenders don't get shot." The post went viral. Kevin was interviewed by every news station in Chicago, and he told them the truth. He said, quote, "We've had 3 shootings within a block of my bar in the past year. 3. One of them was a stray bullet that went through my window. Nobody was hurt, but my customers saw it. They stopped coming. My sales are down 30%. I'm not sure I can survive another year." Kevin also talked about taxes. He said his property taxes had gone up 31% in 5 years. His liquor license fees had gone up 40%. His employee health insurance had gone up 25%. Everything was going up except his sales. The mayor's office reached out to Kevin after his interview. They offered to connect him with a small business counselor. A counselor. Kevin already knows how to run a bar. He's been doing it for 25 years. He doesn't need a counselor. He needs safety and reasonable costs. Kevin is still open, but he told me he's thinking about selling. The city is in shock because a 25-year institution might close, but they shouldn't be shocked. They created the conditions. This one is wild. A gas station owner on the south side named Mr. Patel stopped paying rent. Just stopped. He told his landlord, "I'm not paying until you lower the rent or the city lowers my property taxes." Mr. Patel gave an interview to the Chicago Tribune. He said, quote, "I've owned this gas station for 15 years. I've never missed a rent payment, but I can't afford it anymore. My sales are down because people are afraid to stop. My costs are up because of theft. I'm losing money every month. I told my landlord, either lower the rent or evict me. He hasn't evicted me yet because he knows he can't find another tenant." Let me give you the numbers Mr. Patel shared. In 2019, his gas station sold an average of 8,000 gallons of gas per week. In 2023, that number was 4,200 gallons. Almost a 50% drop. His convenience store sales dropped from $15,000 per week to $7,000 per week. Half. Everything was half of what it used to be. And his costs? His property taxes went from $18,000 per year in 2019 to $26,000 per year in 2023. That's a 44% increase. His insurance went from $12,000 per year to $28,000 per year. That's more than double. Mr. Patel is now 3 months behind on rent. He's not sure what will happen, but he says he's not alone. He says every gas station owner he knows is struggling. Some have already closed. The city is in shock because a gas station, which should be a stable business, is failing. But gas stations are failing because nobody feels safe enough to stop. Let me tell you about a flower shop, Flowers by Marie. They were in Bucktown for 38 years. Marie's mother opened the shop in 1986. Marie took over in 2005. And in 2023, Marie moved the shop to Elmhurst, a suburb 25 miles west. The reason? Marie said it was two things: crime and taxes. She told the Daily Herald, quote, "In the last 2 years, I had my delivery van stolen twice. I had my front window smashed 3 times. I had employees who quit because they didn't feel safe walking to their cars, and my property taxes more than doubled in 5 years. Doubled. From $8,000 to $17,000. I couldn't afford it anymore." Marie said her sales in Bucktown had dropped 40% since 2019. In Elmhurst, her sales in the first 6 months were already higher than her best year in Chicago. She said, quote, "I didn't want to move. Chicago is my home. But I have to think about my retirement. I can't work until I die." Marie is 61 years old. She was planning to work another 10 years and then sell the shop. Now she thinks she might work another 5 years and then close. She's not sure anyone will buy a flower shop in Elmhurst, but she knows no one would buy one in Bucktown. The city is in shock because a 38-year-old business left. But Marie is not a corporation. She's not a billionaire. She's a florist. And she left because Chicago made it impossible for her to stay. This one made me angry. Marcus is a barber in Englewood. He's been cutting hair for 22 years. He owns his own shop, 4 chairs, 3 employees. In January 2024, Marcus started a GoFundMe. The goal was $50,000. He wrote on the page, quote, "I'm trying to save my barber shop. Crime and taxes are killing me. I need money for security cameras, a new door, and back taxes. Please help." Marcus gave an interview to Block Club Chicago. He said, quote, "I never thought I'd have to beg for money. I'm a small business owner. I've worked hard for 22 years. But after the pandemic, everything fell apart. My insurance went up, my taxes went up, my customers stopped coming because they're scared. I'm behind on everything." Let me give you Marcus's numbers. In 2019, he had 120 regular customers per week. In 2023, he had 62. That's a 48% drop. His revenue went from $7,000 per week to $3,000 per week. His expenses went up. He's losing about $1,000 per month. The GoFundMe raised $12,000, not $50,000. Marcus is still open, but he told me he's not sure for how long. He said, quote, "I'm praying for a miracle, but the mayor isn't answering my prayers." The city is in shock because a barber had to start a GoFundMe to stay open, but they shouldn't be shocked. When you raise taxes and ignore crime, this is what happens. Small business owners don't have corporate parents. They don't have lawyers. They have a GoFundMe page and a prayer. Let me tell you about the night the city finally listened. In April 2024, the mayor's office held a town hall for small business owners. They expected maybe 50 people. 300 showed up, and they were angry. According to reporters who were there, the first business owner to speak was a woman who owns a bakery in Humboldt Park. She said, quote, "My store has been broken into 4 times in 2 years. 4 times. I've spent $15,000 on security. I can't afford it anymore. What are you going to do?" The city official on the panel said, "We're working with the police department to increase patrols." The woman said, "That's what you said last year. Nothing changed." The next business owner stood up. A man who owns a shoe repair shop in Pilsen. He said, quote, "My property taxes went up 30% this year. 30%. My rent went up because of it. I'm paying $2,000 more per month than I was 3 years ago. My sales haven't gone up. I'm losing money every month. What are you going to do?" The official said, "Property taxes are determined by the county assessor. We don't control that." The man said, "Then who do I talk to?" Because everyone points fingers at everyone else and nothing changes. The meeting went on for 2 hours. Business owners yelled. Officials made excuses. Nothing was resolved. And at the end, a man stood up and said, quote, "I've been in business in this city for 40 years. I've never seen it this bad, and I've never seen leadership this bad. I'm closing in 6 months, and it's your fault." The room went silent. The officials had no response, and the city was in shock because they realized that the people who built Chicago, the small business owners, were giving up. Let me end with what the data says, because the city is acting like this came out of nowhere, but the numbers have been screaming for years. According to the Chicago Police Department, commercial burglaries are up 62% since 2019. Retail theft is up 78%. And the clearance rate, the percentage of crimes that lead to an arrest, has dropped from 24% to 11%. That means almost 9 out of 10 commercial crimes go unsolved. According to the Cook County Assessor's Office, commercial property taxes have increased by an average of 32% since 2019. 32%. And according to the Illinois Restaurant Association, 63% of Chicago restaurant owners say they are considering closing within the next 2 years. 63%, that's not a small number, that's a catastrophe. And here's the part that should make you angry. The mayor's office has a plan. They're going to create a small business advocate position. One person to represent tens of thousands of businesses. That's not a plan, that's a PR stunt. Another part of the plan is a $20 million grant fund for small business security. $20 million. There are over 40,000 small businesses in Chicago. That's $500 per business. $500 won't even buy a decent security camera system. It's a joke. The city is in shock because they thought small business owners would just take it. They thought they would keep paying higher taxes. They thought they would keep absorbing the cost of crime. They thought they would never close, but they were wrong. And now the business owners are threatening to close, and the city is in shock. But they shouldn't be. You can't squeeze blood from a stone, and you can't expect a hardware store to survive when it's robbed 3 times a year and taxed into oblivion. The business owners aren't the problem. The city is. And until the city admits that, more stores will close, more neighborhoods will become food deserts. More retirees will lose the services they depend on, and the city will still be in shock. But they'll have no one to blame but themselves. I'm not telling you to stop shopping locally. I'm telling you to pay attention. Watch the city council meetings. Watch the mayor's press conferences. Ask him why commercial burglaries are up 62%. Ask him why property taxes are up 32%. Ask him why 63% of restaurant owners are thinking about closing. Call your alderman, go to community meetings, vote, and when the mayor talks about a small business advocate, ask him how one person helps 40,000 businesses. Don't let him off the hook, because if we don't demand better, nothing will change. More business owners will close their doors, more neighborhoods will lose their corner stores, more retirees will have to drive to the suburbs to buy a loaf of bread, and your property taxes will keep going up. You deserve better. Chicago deserves better. And the mayor needs to know that you're watching, and that the business owners aren't bluffing.